It's the biggest card from the fastest growing sport in the world. It's KnuckleMania. And I've got BKFC Matchmaker Nate Shook here to talk all about it. Susan Cingari here with BKFC Matchmaker Nate Shook, and we are just a few weeks away from KnuckleMania, and damn, I'm excited.
Oh yeah, thank you again for having me. It's always fun coming on here.
Let's talk a little bit about the card then first.
Yeah, so everyone knows the main event, Paige VanZant, is going to be debuting against BKFC veteran Hart. She's 1-2 in bare knuckle, but coming off a very impressive win. She called out Paige, seized the opportunity, and they pretty much made the fight themselves, and there's a lot of hype behind this match.
You also have a title fight on the line.
We do. Johnny Bedford, 5-0 bare knuckle, is going to be defending his 135-pound title against Dat Win, who's also undefeated at 2-0, and he's a well-accomplished boxer. And he's already proven that he can go in there and utilize his boxing skills to frustrate other opponents.
You also have the final fight for legendary fighter Chris Leben, who's facing Quentin. Is that kind of a bittersweet moment for you coming from the combat sports community?
Absolutely. Chris Leben went out there and said before he thought he was done fighting and competing, but we were talking back and forth. He came to some tryouts, especially out there in Arizona. I would kept just talking to him about it, like, hey, I know you have one more left. Fans love you. And one day we spoke. He agreed for a fight, and Quentin Henry made a lot of sense. He's undefeated. He's very tough coming down from heavyweight. And Chris Leben, he doesn't want easy fights. So he accepted a younger, up-and-coming fighter, and it's going to be a war. We're really excited about that as our featured fight of the evening.
I'm looking forward to that because I do love Chris Leben, and while it is his final fight, just like any fangirl, it's going to be bittersweet for me as well. What about the rest of the matchups on the card?
We have 12 bouts scheduled for this card. It's our largest card in recent times. It's from bottom to top. There's just a ton of exciting matches. We have more international fighters that are going to be on this card. We have another female fight that a lot of people have been talking about lately. I'm really excited. There's not one bout that just stands out to me. We sat down as a team. We wanted to put together just an amazing card for KnuckleMania, and these were the bouts that we felt were going to bring the fans just a ton of entertainment for that weekend.
I have to comment on that because since I've covered bare knuckle, it isn't going to be an amazing event, but also the talent pool has really grown, don't you think?
Absolutely. Looking back at our first event, we had a tryout. There were a bunch of fighters that we knew from other combat sports, but they never trained or fought bare knuckle. Dave did the first show. It went off as a huge success. But again, these fighters were training boxing, they were training mixed martial arts, and they were coming over to bare knuckle. Now what you see is you have fighters who are giving up their old combat sports and focusing on training bare knuckle fighting, which is a totally unique and different sport. Because of that, we're seeing these fighters that are putting in the time and effort, they're just going through and exponentially getting better in this sport. And I'm really excited because, like I said, there's a ton of exciting matchups on this card. We're going to have some quick knockouts. We're going to have some 5-round wars. It's going to be great, and people are going to be talking about this card for the rest of the year.
I couldn't agree more. Speaking of the talent pool, we were in Plant City just a few weeks ago for the tryouts. Lots of great fighters, both men and women there.
Yeah, that was shortly after Christmas, so we were kind of nervous of how many people were going to be able to fly in. We did it at the BKFC training facility down in Plant City, Florida. We had a little over 100 people register, 38 show up, and there weren't any bad people. This is probably the second time where everyone that showed up showed quality that they can go in there and they had fighting capability. But again, like I said, as the sport grows, we're getting a higher level of athlete coming to these as well. We had Derek Finley, who has 61 professional fights, 33, 27-1 with like 23 knockouts. He fought the who's who, all the way down to the amateur who were pro debuting, and they were looking to start their pro career in bare knuckle fighting. We even had a female who was 40 years old who came on out, who has no combat sports experience as far as fighting goes, but she trains a bare knuckle fighter. She's his strength and conditioning coach, and she saw up close what it's like for one of her students to get punched in the face and said, hey, I want to try out. So we'll see. Yeah, maybe we'll see her in a toe the line or the squared circle sometime soon.
I would think then with all this amazing talent pool that you just had, it's probably going to be tough for you to make a decision on who gets the contract.
It is, because while we're there, we're looking around and you only get so much time to look at each person. I mean, sometimes seconds before you move into the next one, like you saw, up into the ring, down, around the corner to the bags. So it's one of those things where we have to get all the footage, go back, sit down with the team, and spend hours reviewing it. We want to make sure everyone has equal opportunity. That's why we do multiple rounds in the bags, multiple rounds shadow boxing, multiple rounds of mitts. We do such a long time shadow boxing, which, even when David was out there, the president of BKFC, he looked at me and he was like, 11 minutes? I said, yeah, like, we want to make sure we're getting enough footage so when we sit down, we can make an honest evaluation and pick the best people to fight on the upcoming cards.
When can we see the next Toe the Line?
So as you know, Toe the Line 3 was supposed to be coming up in the UK. Unfortunately, with the lockdowns and everything going on over there, they had to postpone that event. I'm talking to 3 new promoters right now and several of the promoters we've already worked with to get a schedule together for 2021. February 20th, we're potentially going to open up a new state with Toe the Line. The promoter has 12 bare knuckle bouts already matched. He has the venue. It's a beautiful venue. It's up north, so it's going to be cold. But we're just working on logistics and talking final numbers, but we should have that one finalized here by Friday. And then we're looking at mid to end of March, hopefully going back to the Midwest area. And then April, we'll be back in Florida for Toe the Line down there. So Toe the Line is expanding out. And like I said, we have 3 new promoters that we're talking to and some of the older ones as well. And I'm really excited to see the new talent, because going to these new areas, it's going to draw more fighters, more possibilities to move on up to the big show.
What about the next opportunity for tryouts? Because you had such an outstanding amount of people, and people keep on asking me, hey, when can I get in front of Nate and Dave again?
Yeah, so I'm glad you bring that up, because every morning when I get to the office, I open up the laptop and I sit there and I'm responding to all these people who apply to be a fighter. But it's hard to sit there and pick someone based off of a couple questions on a piece of paper. So these tryouts are really, really important for us to put eyes on them. Our goal is to do monthly tryouts in order to scout talent for both BKFC and Toe the Line. The top ones that we pick, obviously, are going to BKFC. But it doesn't mean that the other ones who show up won't get a chance to fight. Because as you know, the Kansas card, there were people who did not receive contracts from that one who ended up on the card. And one of the gentlemen, he took a fight on 24 hours notice, had his blood work ready, had all of his medicals, fought a guy who was 4 pounds heavier than him, than his walking weight, and ended up winning a decision. So I tell people, even if you don't get a contract out of this, like, don't get down about it. We're going to be doing these monthly. We're hoping to open more states. And the more shows we do, obviously, the better chance to use some of these fighters that show up.
KnuckleMania, what a great name, because it is your biggest show and it is so unusual, Superbowl Weekend. How did you guys come up with that name?
So we were sitting down in the conference room and we're chatting around and we're throwing names back and forth. I think Dave Jr., I could be wrong, but I think Dave Jr. Came up with it and threw it out there. And then one person was like, oh, I like it. And Senior was like, oh, I like it. And, the great thing about our team is there are days where, just like any other organization, we're not going to see eye to eye on everything. But when we leave a room, we're all on the same page, because we know that for us to be successful, the team has to work together. So same thing comes with, matching the card. I might have a match that someone doesn't like, and they say it, and we analyze it. Same thing with the name of this. Someone threw out the name, we took a general consensus, people loved it, we ran with it, and it's on probably the biggest weekend of sports. But being the largest bare knuckle company in the world, Dave Sr. felt it was more than appropriate that Friday night we own.
It is definitely more than appropriate. Before we go today, Nate, is there anything else you would like to add?
Yeah, just again, thank you for coming on out to Tryouts. The fighters love getting interviewed. Thank you to our sponsors. We have Tiger Life Energy Drink, the cleanest energy drink on the market. Truly a great product. If you don't believe me, buy it. It seems like it's all over the East Coast now. Everywhere I'm going, there's people have Tiger Life are talking about it. Fusion CBD. I use their products. I know some of the fighters that use their products, and we all love it. So thank you to them. And the rest of our sponsors. We're gaining sponsors weekly now. We are the fastest growing sport in the world. Fact check me. We hold the fastest combat sports knockout. So there's so much going on. 2021 is going to be an amazing year for combat sports for BKFC, and I hope to see you at as many of these shows as possible.
All right, Nate Shook, thank you so much for taking the time to interview with Bare Knuckle News tonight. I look forward to seeing you up at KnuckleMania.
Thank you. See you soon.
Huge thanks to Nate Shook for taking the time to interview with us today here at Bare Knuckle News. And we will be there at KnuckleMania going down February 5th, Super Bowl weekend from Tampa, Florida, bringing you all the beautiful bloody action. I'm Susan Cingari for Bare Knuckle News. And remember, no one beats us to the punch.